Hi, welcome to my video on the slope of a line. And the slope of a line is very, very important to understand when we're doing math, and especially is needed in the calculus, so it's very important to understand what the slope is. And we have what we call the slope formula. Just also remind you that the slope unit was done on the linear equation in the earlier units, so it's good to review that. And this is also backing it up here in coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry is geometry based on the coordinates of the points. The slope of a line through the points x1, y1, x2, y2 is represented by m is slope. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, the slope is actually the rise over the run. And if you take this line that passes through the point x1, y1, x2, y2, and we draw a vertical line through this point and a horizontal line to this point, the vertical line and the horizontal line intersect to form a right angle, and the coordinates of this point right here is x2, comma, y1. On a vertical line, the x coordinates are the same, so x2, x2. On a horizontal line, the y coordinates are the same, y1, y1. So that means that this distance, or from y2 to y1, that difference is y2 minus y1, which is the side of this triangle. And this difference here is x2 minus x1, same as we did in the distance. But the slope is the rise over the run, so the rise is the y, so that's why it's y2 minus y1 over the run, which is the x, which is x2 minus x1. So when I do slope, I think of rise over run, the y's over the x's. Find the slope of each line. Well, this point is x1, y1. This point is x2, y2. So the slope of a line is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And y2 is 11. y1 is 1. x2 is 2 minus 4. And that's 10 over negative 2, which is negative 5, or negative 5 over 1. And just to look at a representation of that, the point 4, 1, let's pretend 4 is here and 1 is here. And then we have the point x is 2 and y is 11, so let's pretend that that point is right there. So notice that this line is going up to the left, and up to the left is a negative slope. A positive slope goes up to the right. So let's find the slope of the line that passes through negative 8, 3, and 1, negative 2. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So the slope is the rise, differences in the y's, over the difference in the x's. And y2 is negative 2. Subtract y1, which is negative 3. And x2 is 1. Subtract y1, which is negative 8. Notice we have double negatives, so we make them positive. Double negatives, we make them positive. So that becomes negative 2 plus 3 is 1. And 1 plus 8 is 9. So the slope of this line is 1/9. And again, just to draw this line very quickly, negative 8, negative 3. Negative 8, this just estimated, negative 3 is right there. This point 1, negative 2 is, pretend, right here. So that's the line. Notice the line is sloping up to the right. Positive slope is going up to the right. a negative slope goes up to the left, or a negative slope would go down. Down is negative to the right. So again, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, just to make sure. And find the slope of a line that has an x-intercept of -9. So if we got an x-intercept of -9, that's a -9, 0. If you have a y-intercept of 6, then we have x is 0, y is 6. And we want to look at that further. The x-intercept is -9, so that's along here. So just pretend is right there. So that's x is -9. Notice y is 0. The y-intercept is 6, so that cuts the y-axis at 6. Let's pretend is there. So notice that the x-coordinate is 0 and y is 6. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. And so the slope of that line is calculated. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's do slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And y2 is 6, y1 is 0, and x2 is 0, and x1 is, we're subtracting, so double negative is a positive, so that gives me 6 over 9, and 6 over 9, 3 into 6 goes 2, 3 into 9 goes 3, so 2/3 is the slope. And again, the slope is positive. Positive is up and to the right. Up is positive, to the right is positive, so you get a positive slope. Okay, let's continue. Practice. Practice means pause the video and see if you can get the answers to these right. Find the slope of a line through -3, 5 and the midpoint of 1, 6 and 5, 10. So we have this midpoint 1, 6 and 5, 10. We're going to find a midpoint. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. And so the midpoint is the average. So it's x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. And so the midpoint, let's work it out. x1 is 1 plus x2 is 5 over 2. y1 is 6 plus y2 is 10 over 2. And so there's 6 over 2, 16 over 2. So the midpoint is 3, 8. And now we want the slope of the line through -3, 5, and the midpoint, which is -3, 5, and 3, 8. So let's call this one x1, y1, x2, y2, and the slope, small m. Large M could stand for midpoint, small m stands for slope. And the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so the slope, y2 is 8 minus y1, which is 5, and x2 is 3 minus x1, which is -3. And notice we have a double negative, so let's make it a positive. So 8 minus 5 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 over 6, 3 into 3 goes once, 3 into 6 goes 2. So the slope of the line is a half. Number 2, through these 2 points, and this is x1, y1, x2, y2, and the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, the slope formula is rise over run. y2 is -7 minus 3. x1 is 1 minus -1. So notice you always put the minus in and fill in the coordinates around it. So we have a double negative is a positive. So negative 7 subtract 3 is negative 10. And 1 plus 1 is 2. And that gives me negative 5 or negative 5 over 1. When you do a slope, it's a rise over 1, so the denominator is understood to be 1. Number 3, through the y-intercept of this line and to the x-intercept of this line. So a y-intercept is the point x comma y. A y-intercept is on the y-axis, so the x coordinate is 0. So if you take the line 2x plus 3y equals 12, and you want the y-intercept, so you let x equals 0. So if we let x equals 0, 2 times 0 is 0, so you get 3y is 12, 3, y is 4. So that's the point. X is 0, y is 4. And you want the x-intercept, cuts the x-axis, and it cuts the x-axis when y is 0. And just to illustrate that, if you cut the x-axis right here, notice that's x comma 0. If you cut the y-axis, it's x comma 0, 0 comma y. So the x-axis is when the y is 0, the y-axis is when x is 0. So the x-intercept is cutting the x-axis, the y is 0. So we let y equals 0 when we want to get the x-intercept of this line. Again, this is the linear, y equals mx plus b. So y is 0. Plug 0 in for y. Move the 4x over to make it positive. Divide by 4. Cancels. So x equals 6. So that's the point. X is 6, y is 0. Again, to get the x-intercept, you let y be 0. To get the y-intercept, you let x be 0. Now we work on these 2 points. We want the slope through here. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So the slope formula is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And that's y2 is 0 minus a 4, and it's a 6 minus a 0. And that gives me negative 4 over 6. And 2 goes into both of these numbers as a common factor. 2 into negative 4 is negative 2. 2 into 6 goes 3. So, again, the y-intercept of a line, this is linear because the degrees are 1. The y-intercept is when you let x equals 0. And to get the x-intercept when you let y equals 0. Just think about it. Keep that in mind. X and y intercepts. And don't forget, if you want to pause your video and work these out, be my guest. Now we have find the slope of the line AB. So A is right here. A is negative 1, 2. B is here. So B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, negative 2. So we want the slope of this line. Notice the slope, this line is sloping down to the left. Down is negative. Down to the right, my mistake. This line is sloping down, which is negative. To the right is positive, so it's a negative slope. If you go up, it's positive, and to the left is negative. So positive over a negative is still a negative slope. If it goes up to the left, the slope of a line is negative. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so that's y2 is negative 2, subtract 2. x2 is 4, subtract negative 1. So it has negative 4, double negative is a positive. And again, the slope is, and just think of it this way, watch. If you have the two lines, I did the formula, but if you wanted to, you could rise, just watch, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a 4, that's positive. And if I go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's negative 5. So I went up is positive 4, to the left is negative 5, so the slope is positive 4 over 5. Or you could start from A and go to B, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's negative 4 if you're going down, and you're going to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a plus 5, so it's negative 4 over 5 still. So you can get it from the graph, or you can use the equation, which is the slope formula. Number 5, the vertex of a triangle, H is negative 1, 4, I is 1, negative 2, K is 7, 6. So find as a fraction the slope of the median from H. We'll just have a look at it first. Just have a little graph of this and see what happens. We have, this is the Y, and this is the X. X is negative 1, 4, so let's pretend it's right there. So H is negative 1, 4. I is 1, negative 2. And K is a 7. So let's move on over here and go 7. And that's a 4, so 7, 6. So let's pretend it's right there. So if you roughly draw a sketch of it, I'm just drawing the sketch now to show you. These are the vertices of the triangle. This is the x-axis. I did it too short. Here it is. As a fraction, find the slope of the median from H. So if we leave H, the median goes to the midpoint of the opposite side. So the median goes from H to M. M is the midpoint of IK. A median leaves the vertex and goes to the midpoint of the opposite side. So we're going to find the midpoint of IK. So let's write down I as 1, negative 2. And we write down K as 7, 6. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So the midpoint is the average of the x's, x1, x2 divided by 2, and the average of the y's. And so that is x1 plus x2 is 1 plus 7 over 2. And the y1 is negative 2, add on 6 over 2. So that's 8 over 2, and that's a 4 over 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's the midpoint. So now we want, if that's 4, 2, and I is negative 1, 4. So we'll get the slope of the line, which is of the median from H. So the median is HM. So it's a negative 1, 4, and 4, 2. So we want to find the slope of HM, and the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So that x2 is a 2, y2 minus y1 is 2 minus 4. x2 is a 4, x1 is x1 is negative 1. So y2, so 2 minus 4 over 4, subtract negative 1, double negative is a positive. So 2 subtract 4 is negative 2, and 5 plus 1, 4 plus 1 is 5. So notice the slope of this line again is slanting up to the left, negative, or down, which is positive. Up is positive, to the left is negative. Down is negative, to the right is positive. So it's a negative slope, going up to the left, or it goes down to the right. Again, a review of the slope of a line that we're going to need when we continue on in this unit on coordinate geometry. And if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, visit my website www.mathfullyexplained.com to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye bye.